Hey there, and welcome back to Local Marketing Secrets. I'm your host, Danny Leibrandt, and today I'm with Tim Kahlert. Tim is the founder of Hypetrix, the author of the Local SEO Bible, and one of the most active voices in the local SEO space. He's a contributor to Whitespark's local search ranking factors, a frequent writer for Bright Local, and he runs the largest local SEO community with over 100,000 members in his Facebook group. Tim is known for his no-nonsense approach to Google business profiles, his massive local SEO checklists, and his focus on what actually moves rankings in the real world. So if you want to understand what's working right now in local search, this is an episode you won't want to miss. Now, without further ado, Tim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Tim, tell me a little bit about your background. How did you originally get into local SEO and this whole space?
Yeah, well, after I studied in 2015 for 3 years, I didn't really know what to do. I never wanted to work for a company. I never wanted to, I always knew it better anyway. So nobody wanted to work with me, I guess. And so I was lost. I just didn't know what to do. So I basically took a flight ticket to Australia and did some traveling. I didn't have much money, but I knew that when I come back to Germany, basically, that I will have my own business at some point. So it took me quite a while. It took me like 6 months to get into this whole marketing thing, because I studied marketing, but it wasn't really practical what they taught us. So I didn't really know how everything works on the internet. And so basically I was looking for phrases like how to make money online at some point. I was so desperate. And so that eventually got me to the idea of how do people actually pay me any money online? Like, what do I have to do to get paid? And then I realized, okay, if I provide value to them, if I just provide, informational value. And so I there was an interesting article I read about Google Ads, and it's supposedly the most difficult thing you can do, the most difficult skill you can learn online. So I learned everything about Google Ads, but it was all theoretically. I mean, I ran some Google Ads on some affiliate projects, but it didn't really work. But I found it interesting, the whole Google Ads stuff, basically. So I just joined Facebook groups. I joined 5 Google Ads Facebook groups, and I just wanted to test what I thought about the internet, basically, in terms of providing value to people. So what I did was I spent 14, 15 hours a day answering people's questions about Google Ads on Facebook groups. And if I didn't know the answer, I would just go to Google and Google it up and then put it into my own words and try to explain it without copy and pasting. So, because I didn't want to mislead anyone, I just wanted to understand the topic myself first. And so it took like 10 days. Until I got hundreds of messages in the meantime from different kinds of people. But after 10 days, a guy reached out to me and said, like, hey, can you help me with Google Ads? And I was like, I never gave a coaching my whole life before. I have no clue how that works, right? I wasn't really prepared for that situation, that someone would actually reach out to me, because I probably didn't believe in it fully. So, and he was quite rude. He was like, I don't need someone for fucking coaching. I need someone to run it for my company. I was like, okay, I'll do it. So, and then he transferred. I had $5 left in my bank account. Like, it was $5 was left, because I was spending everything in Australia. I didn't have anything left except for my van where I was living in back then. And then I just had to decide whether to spend the $5 on food or petrol. So gas. And there was really like the last 2 weeks and before that client reached out were pretty terrible. I couldn't really sleep. I was sweating at night. I was like, I didn't really know what to do, because I owed my mom like 5 grand, her boyfriend 5 grand, and the government 10 grand. So like lots of debt and to pay. And I was like, oh shit, if this doesn't work, I don't know what to do. But
Yeah.
anyway, last minute, this guy transferred $600 to my bank account. I was like, wow, this shit works. And then, long story short, this guy wanted Google Ads, and obviously he wanted to have something more sustainable SEO. So I upsold him an SEO package, and I think on the first month he paid me 2,500. on a retainer, which was so much money for me. Like, oh my God, this is insane. Yeah, and everything worked well. I just learned on the go basically. So I started joining local SEO or SEO Facebook groups, helping people. And then at some point, the owners of those groups, they didn't really live up to their own expectations, because most of the descriptions of those Facebook groups say that you can, you can provide case studies, you can help people, you can just talk about different strategies. And some of them didn't like that, so they banned me from those groups. And I was like, oh shit, that's my only funnel basically that I have. So I decided to start my own Facebook group so that this wouldn't happen again, basically. And then, yeah, I just had a monologue in my Facebook group for 6 months. And then after 6 months, I think it just took off. I think this consistent work and answering people's questions every day and answering every single comment every day and actually thinking about the problems people have had a huge impact on the growth of the group. Because in the first year, it grew from 0 to 900, and in the second year to 30,000. So that was a huge um, how do you say, but exponential growth. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. No, I never knew that. Well, so you're $20,000 in debt. You had $5 to your name, and you ended up somehow closing this big client. It's funny because I see a good amount of overlap with my journey. I was totally dead broke. I was in college. My first big client was actually $2,500 a month too, which is pretty funny.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, no, it feels so hard to make money online until you actually do it. It feels like it's fake, and everyone is. It's not an actual thing until you make money online. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, tell me about the Facebook group more. So you have 107,000 members. I just checked, 20 minutes ago. Okay, so you grew the first year to 900, then to 30,000. Just to backtrack, and maybe even someone that wants to grow their own group, like how did you grow so fast?
As I mentioned before, I think it's a lot about consistency and posting every day, even though it's a monologue at the beginning, because it was literally a monologue for 6 months. I was talking to myself. Facebook, like the most people that join, they don't search for Facebook groups. They get it promoted by Facebook. So they see an ad that says, here, join this Facebook group or whatsoever. And at the beginning of your group, or when you start a group, Facebook doesn't promote the group at all. So you really have to put so much effort into it so that you get all these tiny little reach boosts, basically, through consistently posting and commenting on everyone who's commenting. There was no one, literally, basically. So yeah, the first 6 months, I would say, were the hardest. It grew from 0 to 500 people in 6 months, and that was really hard. It was so just start talking to yourself, and you know what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
there's no response coming from anyone, and it's like, oh my God, is this really worth it? And I think most people struggle with that. Not only with about the Facebook groups, but Instagram, SEO. All of that, all of those things take a lot of time, and it pays off if you put consistent effort and you don't get distracted by whatever it is that appears to be more shiny than what you want it to do. And so, yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, you need to have a good profile picture, and you have to have on your Facebook page or private Facebook account a great cover image. Just fill it with some things, and then you interact with people in other groups and comment under their stuff, and then they will eventually go to your profile and then join your group if that's one CTA you have on your Facebook page. I think, yeah, it really comes down to consistency, not being distracted, and yeah, joining other Facebook groups and interacting with the people, like in a meaningful way, not just with AI. Like don't use AI to copy and paste stuff. I don't think it really works. You can use it for grammar checks and stuff like that, but if you want to interact and grow following on, I don't know, Reddit or Facebook, I think it's very important people understand that the thoughts you're putting into writing are actually your own thoughts and not
Hmm,
some machines. Yeah.
definitely. Well, that's incredible. Congratulations on getting over 100,000 people in that group. That is so much. So tell me about what are the most common questions you get there? You say that you're answering questions all the time. What are like some of the biggest problems you're seeing that people have?
Yeah, I think it's very, like, there's three audience basically. I mean, you would probably know. So it's local business owners. It's agencies, and it's of freelancers, local SEO freelancers. So all of them are three different segments of the audience that have different kind of problems. So the business owners, obviously, they don't want to know how to run an agency or get more clients. But many people, that's one of the biggest questions actually we actually get, is like how to get more clients for SEO. And I mean, I'm always referring people to my method because I know it works. I know it doesn't cost anything, um, but your time, but it does really work to just engage online and provide value to the people and actually help them move forward with their business, and not just to, many people who do that, they have some kind of um their incentive is to get business back, right? And if you do it more altruistically, you would get even more business back. It's interesting that the way it works, but that's definitely one of the most asked questions in the group, that how to get clients, or very generic ones, how to rank on Google Maps, what are ranking factors. I have an Excel sheet of 750 questions, because we every 3 months we basically collect all the questions and then see if they fit any of the categories we have. Because this the group got hacked 2 years ago. Where I just want to drop this here because it's an amazing opportunity to
Yeah.
drop it.
Yeah.
Uh, so the group got hacked. No one knows who it was. But the only person joining, or the only two people joining, was William Jones and his wife, Rowena Jones, from Rank Fortress or whatever, William Jones Marketing, whatever he's calling himself. So these are the only two people that joined. And apart from these two that joined, many were kicked, and most of them didn't like William Jones. So I don't want to, I can't say who it was, basically, because I don't know it, but that's just the facts attached to it. But anyway, the connection is that we collect all the questions, and even though the group was stolen, I got all the questions collected, because we do this every 3 months, so then nothing gets lost. Because the guy, I could see it in the activity log, it took him 1 hour, no, it took him like 7 hours to delete all my posts manually. It's insane how much effort someone puts into this. And that was William Jones himself, basically, who deleted all my posts.
Dang.
There was evidence in the log file. Yeah, it was very interesting.
So he wanted to steal the group then and make it his own.
He did, basically, yeah. So a hacker, whoever it was, handed over the admin rights to some fake account, basically, and then they didn't really want to do anything with it, so he sold it to some other guy, and this guy sold it back to me. And then some fake profile reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about the group." And it's like, yeah, of course you want to talk to me about the group, but that was obviously William Jones, for sure it
Yeah.
was. I mean, I have no proof of that, but that's what I would suggest. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
That's horrible. I mean, that's your whole thing. For me, that'd be like my podcast getting stolen somehow. It's like, what, I've been spending a lot of time building this thing. It's the same thing with you. You're spending all this time on that Facebook group, and it got hacked. But thank God you got it back somehow. So now you've been running it, and continue with where you were going. The 750 questions. So everything fit with
Right.
one of those categories.
Yeah, so we got so many questions, and yeah, I think I just wanted to summarize that there's so many questions, and I can't really, I think the client thing is a big problem. The ranking factor thing is a big problem. And what I think the people should focus on more than ranking factors is they should more focus on conversions, because there's just all these different platforms you can get reach, but it all comes down to you sending the people to your website, and then they have to convert in one way or the other, right? So I think conversions is a very big thing, and it also helps you ranking. I mean, if Google sees the path that the customer's going on your website, they land on your website, and then they basically don't come back to the search after they submitted the form. I mean, that's a clear sign to everyone that, okay, that was a good decision to Google that and provide that search results to the end user. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been making that point with clients a lot lately, that you can't have SEO without CRO, conversion rate optimization. It, like you said, that like I like to give kind of an extreme example that, let's say we do SEO and you're ranking number one, and I don't know, ranking number one on all your top keywords. But then every single person that clicks on the page, for whatever reason, maybe it's super slow, maybe it looks weird, maybe it's not mobile optimized. Every single person that clicks on the page ends up clicking off and going to a new site. Obviously, that's a red flag, and Google is going to move you either lower on the first page or maybe even to page 10, because that's a clear signal to Google. And that got released in the recent leak like a year or two ago, that Google's looking at all of these different factors. So you can't just optimize for SEO. So do you have any conversion rate optimization hacks, anything that's like a must do?
I think the most important thing is the above default spot where people land on. Like that's the spot most people see, and the footer is certainly the spot that the least people see. So I think I just posted something in the group today about the above default spot, that you always see a lift in conversions when you optimize that spot. If you have a shitty spot and you optimize, like you make it really good, then you will always see a lift in conversions. It's inevitable, basically, because people land. I mean, it depends on the niche, obviously. For a towing business, probably not so important as it is for a restaurant or yeah, for whatever. So I think the above default spot is so important, and that you just structure your keywords and your USPs and your social proof in a certain way, and the CTA in a certain way, so that people are actually more inclined to click than to leave. And if you can do that, that's that. I mean, that's so much money for some companies that they leave on the table if they don't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Could you get a little bit more tactical there, if you're okay with sharing? Like, should you have like a hero image, or like a big heading, like an offer, or just keyword optimized? What do you have specifically in that first section?
I think it depends a lot on the vertical. It depends a lot on the industry and the specific business. Like it depends, like everything in SEO. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's no one size fits all approach, but you can certainly have some general structure that you can follow, like a keyword relevant heading that contains a USB usually works really well. People see immediately what they get and that they're at the right place. And then you support it with some kind of bullet points, your value propositions, basically. So just put all the value proposition in these bullet points so that people see immediately what they get from you if they do business with you. And a clear CTA is very important. If it's your main CTA, should have one color that differentiates from the rest of the page. I think that's a big mistake most people do, because they have a red and blue website, and then all of their main CTAs are either red or blue, and then it doesn't really stand out, and then it just you never know what kind of action you actually take when you click on it, based on the color. So, and then social proof is very important as well. So it go from headline, USPs, CTA, social proof, and it doesn't only have to be a review badge, but that's a great way of showcasing social proof. But also how many years you're in business, if your tags are licensed, or if you have other certificates, or whatever is relevant to that in that particular case. It's I think that's it's very easy, actually. It's very easy to structure, but I still think like 90% of local businesses just don't do it. They just don't do it. And what works in some of the industries is people smiling in the camera, like the personal touch, a personal picture of someone or a team that's smiling into the camera is worth more than, I don't know, some random fancy AI made image. I think that works pretty well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree on all those points, especially that last one, that people connect with people. So you don't want to use stock art. We don't recommend using AI images, but real images from your company. And also, like I'm working with this one client who's an arborist, and we're building his website. And I was like, okay, dude, I need some pictures. You have like no pictures available, so send me like 30 pictures or so. And I kind of gave my criteria, and all the pictures that he sent me, it was either just of trees or just of lawns, or if he was in the picture, he was like a mile away. He's super far. I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna need some pictures close up. Like if you're comfortable, have your face in the picture or one of your technicians in the picture, because it's hard to connect with someone if they're like a mile away on your lawn. You want to be close up. If they're smiling, they can still be working, but I definitely recommend that as well.
Tell me about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No, yeah.
it's just work in progress. It's such a hard work to get good pictures from clients. Like I remember like one of our clients, he wasn't really in charge of the photo taking action, so he just sent me the pictures, but someone else took it. And then I told him, look, it's great, you put pictures of your humans smiling to the camera, but can you maybe ask the people not to show their middle fingers to the camera? See, you know, it was this amazing picture he sent, and then I basically waited a year for that, and then I saw the face. It's like, oh, that's awesome. And then I looked at his hand, and he's like, it's like, ah, no.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's so hard, but you have to keep pushing, you have to keep pushing and kind of consult them on how to create better pictures, even though I'm not a photographer.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've considered even flying out to clients, maybe charging them a little bit more or something,
Oh
so we can
yeah.
actually film videos in person, take photos in person, because like it needs to be done and it needs to be done properly. So, cool. And then, do you recommend videos too? Should those be on the website or Google Business Profile?
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Especially like the more complex your business is, the better a video will work. In terms of explaining a business concept, explaining your USPs, showing your face to the camera, talking. I mean, I think that's very important. And together with some video reviews, for example, those can work really well. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, let's jump into some more Google Business Profile stuff. So, I believe you have a 300-point checklist on Google Business Profile. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a local SEO checklist, not only Google
Okay.
Business Profile. Yeah. I think there's like 50 points about Google Business Profile. Yeah.
Okay.
But the rest,
Okay, yeah. So let's talk
is
about those 50 to 60 points on Google Business Profile. What are like some of the top ones there? What are some ones everyone needs to know about?
definitely keywords in the business name. And every time I post that, everyone is like, "Oh, you're not compliant with Google's." But I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about Google's guidelines and not to violate them or to violate them. And but changing the business name, making more keyword heavy makes a lot of sense. And I advise that to all my clients. We're usually getting a DBA or we're changing the business name entirely because it makes so much more of a difference in local search. Because if you're not having the business, like the keyword in your name for a local business is not really relevant. People will not dig through. I mean, it doesn't make so much sense to have a very generic business name, but just put the keyword at the end or something like that, and just get Google compliant. And I think that's one of the big things. The second thing is obviously the primary category. If that primary category doesn't match your business name or the keywords you want to target, then you're not ranking for anything. The third point is reviews for sure. Getting consistent reviews. I think Whitespark or Sterling Sky did some tests on that where they found that consistent reviews actually impact rankings, so that you should probably get weekly reviews. I mean, I haven't really tested this myself, but I think weekly should be fine, like at least 1 to 3 weekly reviews. Or have like a 10% conversion rate on reviews. So if you have 100 customers, then you should at least get 10 reviews. And the fourth part, I think there's like 4 very okay. You got the service section on GBP that certainly has impact on rankings. We did some tests on that where we were trying to rank for terms that the business wasn't even, like there wasn't even a local 3-pack for. And then we added those to the service section. Suddenly there was a 3-pack that we triggered. So we triggered other businesses visibility. Basically, it was very interesting to see. And we started to rank for near me terms, but not for the actual service term, which was interesting as well, because we added this as a custom service to the service section, and the the activities. Not so many people, not so many business profiles have an activity um, feature where we have a yoga retreat client that has an activity feature, and that definitely impacts rankings very, like, a lot, actually. Yeah, we could see that the increase in conversions was massive after we just added a couple of activities. It's kind of like the service section, just with the duration of the activity, and I think you also could add a pricing pricing point to each of the activities. Yeah, and the fifth or sixth point is the website. I think that's very important for Google Business Profiles, that the organic rankings or your organic performance actually impacts local rankings as well. I mean, Google doesn't really hide that fact. That they even show this in their Google Business Profile guidelines. Yeah, but I think these 5, 6 points are the most important ones.
Yeah, awesome. I wanted to jump into the services section. So I'm curious because there's like a lot of different nuances there. So first, do you think you should have every single unique keyword, like another client I just took on, of all the different service plus city combinations? We found a total of like 160 keywords. So should all of those be in that service section, or maybe just the top 20? And do they need to be different? Or what are your thoughts there?
Hmm. Well, I think you need to test this for your own business. I don't think this will work the same way for every Google Business Profile. I don't believe that, and it's also very difficult to assess, because you're always in a different local area where different districts play a different role in terms of how customers think about those districts and how they use them. So I think it's very difficult to actually assess what keywords are the right keywords there. I would keep it very relevant. I would keep the industry keywords relevant. As long as it's relevant, just add more keywords, and then see how the rankings improve, or how your leads improve. Like, whatever, like, maybe they want something. Maybe you suddenly have an increase um in a very small niche topic, that just because you added a service to the service section. So I think you just need to test this a lot. But 160 services, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I
Right.
probably would. I don't know. Like, at some point, Google needs to think about it as well. Like, is this actually user friendly? Is it user friendly to have 160 options there? Like,
Yeah.
nobody will ever read that. So I think focusing on the primary ones, the secondary ones, and then everything that's relevant where you think you could make some money from, that's what I would put in there. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. No, thinking back on that, so that 160 keywords was across 8 cities. So I'm guessing, I'm not sure if you'd agree with this. I don't know if I've heard anyone talk on this, but then should you just optimize the Google Business Profile for only the city it's based in, because you can't really rank far out anyways?
Um, I don't think Google believes that the geo terms you add in there are part of the services. I don't think they actually consider this as a service. Would be the same as near me. We tried that with the near me stuff.
Oh, okay.
It didn't work. So Google didn't really actually look at near me. But when we added this one keyword, I mentioned that before. When we added this one keyword, it triggered the local pack, but only for the near me phrase, not for the actual phrase. So that tells me that it already considers this local anyway, because it's part of the local environment in that Google Business Profile. Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Okay, so you don't have to optimize for the cities or for near me for the services section.
I don't believe so. I mean, I haven't seen test results, and we did that as well, but we didn't see anything from it. So
Okay.
this looked very spammy. If you start adding all these districts and cities and, yeah, whatever you want to target to it, because there's a proximity algorithm anyways, right? That restricts your Google profile from going off that radius, basically, and being visible outside that radius is sheer impossible most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. What about for optimizing for near me on the website then?
Yeah, we used to do that, but I don't think it's that valuable anymore. I don't think Google would give you it wasn't really impactful. I was a big fan of integrating it into the FAQ section, because it's kind of like the only way where you can do it naturally when you have a question that says like, where is your next mattress store near me, basically, and then you could answer the question. The next mattress store near you is blah, blah, blah. So, and then that would integrate it in a very natural way. It would certainly not harm the business, but you can do it. Why not? It's like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's hard to kind of integrate that naturally. It sounds you could say near you, but near me, it's like what? That doesn't really make sense.
yeah, unless
Cool.
you phrase it in the first person, when from the customer's perspective, when the customer reads the FAQs from their perspective, it would be, where can I find the next mattress store near me? And then they would read that. It was like, here can I find it, basically, when they see the answer to that question. So that's, from my perspective, the only way to integrate it in a very natural way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I also wanted to dive a little bit more into reviews. So obviously, reviews are important. You should aim to have 5 stars. You should aim to get as many as possible. But what about these specific nuances within reviews? Like, do you think we should be trying to collect a photo? Should we get keywords in the reviews, keywords in the review replies? Like, talk to me about some of the nuances around reviews.
Right. Um, there's some local search patterns that suggest that most likely the sentiment in the reviews plays a role, and the keywords as well. But it's not as most people might think about keyword rankings. Like, it's not. I don't think they're tied to specific keyword rankings. It's just like, as soon as someone mentions that the business was great and they use certain keywords, then that's relevant to the business, and that's basically a relevant point that the business gets. I don't think it has anything to do with the actual keyword rankings, because most people confuse that. They search for something and then the reviews would be suggested on the map. I don't know if you know that. Like, there's some tiny little snippets above the location pins that repeat the parts of the review that you searched for, and most people think there is a direct correlation, but well, we've tested this so many times. There's no correlation. Nobody has ever found a correlation between that. So the keywords itself might impact rankings, but not on a keyword rank level, if that makes sense.
Huh. Interesting. And then
Yeah.
this is super nuanced, but I'm kind of just curious myself. Does the reviewer being like a local guide make any difference? If they're like a local guide level 3 versus 8, is that much better than someone who just has a random Google account?
Yeah, that's very hard to say, because I haven't seen any evidence of that. Like, most people claim that the local Google Guide account has more power than a normal account, but I'm not so sure. I think it's more, it's when you look at the suspensions and the reinstatements of Google Business Profiles, it oftentimes has a lot to do with the email address that's used on the accounts. So if you spammed a lot, or if you left fake reviews, or if you violated Google's guidelines, then this account doesn't have the same credibility as an account that's fresh, or that has a long history in good standing and all of that. So I think that can make a difference. If the account that the review comes from can possibly have a higher impact than an account that was violating Google's guidelines in the past. Yeah, that's my
Okay.
take. I don't think the local guide stuff. I mean, maybe not, but it might be so nuanced, as you said yourself. It's yeah, and it's not really under our control anyway. The customers who come in don't have any control about or what kind of account they take, or how active they are on Google. Because you're not targeting that way. You're not saying, "Look, come to my barber shop," but only if you're a local guide. Uh,
Yeah. No, it's you can't determine that, like you said. What about getting reviews? Do you have any strategies for getting reviews? Like, should you be using a QR code? Should you offer them a little bit of something? I don't know. A lot of people have different strategies. I'm curious, what are some ones you recommend?
yeah, right. Um, It also depends on the niche, definitely. Like
Yeah.
as a restaurant, you could put it on the tables, which is the most easy way of doing it. But then if you're a service-based business, you could leave those QR codes on any of the equipment that's with the customer, for example, or you just put it on the car steering wheel after you got a job done, or put a little phrase underneath, did you like the job or did you like the work, and then leave a review. But there's many different ways of getting it. Our problem is not that we're lacking ideas. The problem is more that the client can actually do the stuff we want from him. So
Yeah.
they have to figure, at the end, they have to figure that out themselves.
Mhm.
What's the best way for them to get that stuff? Because we suggested SMS, we suggested WhatsApp and email, and then I don't know, after a year nothing happened. So I was like, okay, how can we get them more reviews so they're not overwhelmed with what I want from them? So it depends a lot on the client and a lot on the industry, but there's thousands of ways to get it. I mean, obviously the best way is to insist personally after the job is done. Here, can you leave it a review? I'm gonna wait, just hand over your phone or hand over
Yeah.
whatever, and then scan the code and leave us a review now. And you would probably have the highest conversion rate with that, if you insist on it. But it depends a lot on what type of person you are, and if you can stand this little tension that you're insisting on something that the customer doesn't have anything from, basically, and you're currently not giving anything in return for that review, and you're not allowed to anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's typically what we recommend to do, which might be seen as a little bit more aggressive, but I believe that follows after a great service. So you have a great rapport with them, you're being super nice, the service was awesome. Then then you can ask for the great review, and there's not really any tension there. But obviously, if you ask before the service, or if it doesn't make sense, then you shouldn't. Cool.
No, I just meant, like, if you insist on it, not if you give them the chance, but if you insist on do it now, you know.
Yeah, that's a little too much. And then they might actually change it to a 1 star or something like that.
Oh,
So,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't want to do that. Cool. I wanted to move on to stuff relating to AEO or AIO, whatever people say. Um, are you doing anything different for your clients or people you consult with for AI overviews, AI mode, and LLMs like ChatGPT? Are you changing anything in your processes, or is it mostly the same?
We did a little bit more um PR, I would say,
Mm,
ever since. But to be honest, Danny, the research on ChatGPT, I mean, the AIOs are quite easy if you ask me. That's just very good SEO and you will be featured. So
mm,
that's basically it. But ChatGPT is very different. Most people believe that you have to be very prominent. You have to boost your fame. You have to get a lot of backlinks. You have to get a lot of brand mentions, branded searches, maybe, if they can track that. Backlinks and PR and features and unstructured citations where where someone just lists your business details on a non-directory site. That's believed to be the way it works, but I haven't seen real evidence that this is actually what works, because every time I'm searching for our clients' businesses with their primary keywords, I'm getting a ton of shit results, in all three different ways. You can search logged out of ChatGPT, you can search logged in without a plan, and you can search with a plan and with a Pro Plus plan. So, and you will get 4 different search results, which
mm.
is incredible. But all of them don't really show me great results. You get 3.8 star businesses
Yeah.
recommended. So that tells me we're not there yet, and nobody knows what are the actual factors. From a logical point of view, it makes a lot of sense. Backlinks, branded searches, brand mentions, structured citations, etc. Everything makes a lot of sense. And if you ask the AI, it will tell you the same. But what it actually does is very different. It's very different from what everyone believes. It might work in some industries, maybe, but it definitely doesn't work in our industries, because I've been almost on a daily basis on it, basically. And then it always gives me very, very weird results. Yeah. From
Mm.
3 months ago, I did one search, and it listed me, I think, 7 businesses, and there were 32 mistakes in these rankings. And I'm not saying like good or bad. It was wrong or right. It was like wrong direction link, wrong website links. It even made up a business, like it made it completely up.
What?
And yeah, it was incredible. I posted it about it, and there was like 32 big mistakes. I was like, wow, how is this even possible? Like, how can people trust this? And so, yeah, maybe we need to do another podcast in a year, I guess, and then
Yeah.
I can probably tell you more. But currently, I don't trust all these tips on how to rank in AI. I can only guess. I created about it a post about it as well, because it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense in the future, but how it is now, I don't know. It doesn't really align with what I'm thinking about all of that, and what it actually gives me. So
Yeah, definitely. No, I respect that you have a very testing oriented approach of like, if someone hasn't clearly tested it, you're not going to speculate it. There has to be some proof that it works. And yeah, I've noticed that myself too. I use ChatGPT all the time, and it's great for traveling, searching up things, whatever else. But when it comes to actual local searches, it doesn't compete with Google at all. So I've seen that too. And you mentioned press releases was really one of the only things you were changing. Have you seen any studies on that? Do those make a difference?
no, we wanted to test it, but I think
Okay.
it's too early to say anything reliably, because we're running a couple of PR campaigns. But I think everything takes a lot more time than we think. Like, you're not throwing out some press releases and then a month later you will see the results. I don't believe so. And yeah, and as you said, it's just I can only trust reliable results at the end. I don't want to, like, there's so much hearsay in that industry. It's amazing. It amazes me every day. People tell you all those all stories about how they ranked a certain business, but there was no sophisticated or empirical approach to it. So that's why I'm always very like, okay, good. Thank you for the information. I'll check. So, but yeah, it's very hard to test everything, anyways. It's very hard to isolate certain factors and to be 100% sure that certain tactics actually have an impact. But I think you just have to see the whole picture and do everything that you believe works. And then if it works, great.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that being said, I wanted to ask you a subjective question that I just came up with. Do you think, with everything that's changing, with the LLMs, with AI mode potentially taking over, do you think things will get easier or harder for small businesses that might be at like 100K, maybe 500K a year?
That's a very great question. I think both.
How
I
so?
think it will get harder and easier. It will obviously get easier because they have their own advisors at home. So, but the problem is everyone has their own advisor at home. So,
Yeah.
and the better you can use your own advisor, the better you are in business. So I think basically everything stays the same, just on a more sophisticated level. That's what I
Mm.
what I think. Yeah. Because
So
then
it's
if
almost like
everyone
everything
can
becomes.
use it, where's the leverage? If everyone can use that stuff, uh, you just, I think the only thing you have is your brain. And if your brain works better than the brains of your competitors, then that's what's going to give you a leverage on it over them.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a good point. It's like everything's kind of become democratized, that there's so much potential, there's so much opportunity. It's really up to you to capitalize. It's like, are you going to ask for reviews? Are
Yeah.
you going to watch podcasts like this? Like everything's on the table now. It's all for the taking, but it's just whether you're, I
Right.
guess, ambitious enough, or I guess part of that is just being smart enough to know what to do and to ask the right people.
I agree. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can see it my own that sometimes I should use AI. I really should, to improve certain processes, but I'm doing it manually because I'm so stuck. I'm so in my routines that it's very hard for a human being to change and to actually accept technical developments. And so if it's very hard for me, who's in that tech, or for us, basically, I guess, who are in this industry, then it must be even harder for people who run a truck repair or a plumbing business. They're just not in that industry. So changing for them means much more than it means for us. Yeah. So
Yeah. No, my dad's 66. He runs a flooring company. And I've been telling him for the past year or so, like, use ChatGPT. I mean, it's so useful and whatever. And I was using it over a recent family trip of ours, and he finally cracked. He's like, all right, like, show me how to do it. I want to do it. And now I showed him how to like talk back and forth with it. And now he's like addicted. My mom was like, oh, you created a monster. He will not stop using it. So
awesome.
yeah, no, that's pretty funny. I feel like some people just kind of have to break that barrier. Maybe had someone younger to show them like, hey, look, just talk to it like it's a person. Like, ask it any question. It's like you just have an expert in your pocket or wherever you go. But it's kind of a crazy concept to wrap your mind around.
It's true. It's true. And people have to get used to it. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. So especially for those older home service business owners. Well, cool. We'll start to wrap up here, Tim. The last question I have for you is, what is your message or advice to these local marketers or local business owners? What do they need to know? What do you want to tell them?
What do I want to tell them? I think one thing is that the majority of people focuses too much on rankings and not conversions or profits. So, I mean, it's so interesting because when I started my SEO journey in that Google Ads space, it was always about get impressions, get clicks, um, get conversions and profits. So you optimize in that row, in that order, and it's kind of like the same with SEO as well. You just have to get noticed somewhere, rank high, like improve your rankings, get more visibility, then convert that traffic into a lot of money. And I think most business owners only focus on rankings and not so much on the conversions and the profits at the end. Because when I talk to them, then usually what happens when they start working with us is they obviously get better rankings. That's great. I mean, I'm happy for them. And that's what we do. We get them more visibility. But at some point, they're like, oh, I wish we could make much more money with all those rankings. I'm not sure if it's worth it. But when you look at their business and at their offers and what else they do in their business, then there's usually something entirely wrong. They're happy to pay for SEO services, but what they also need is some business advisor who tells them, look, your offer sucks and your other channels are not really nice and you don't have an email marketing campaign and that you don't have all the other things. And I think it's so important to look at all these things equally. To like, rankings is nice visibility, but if you as you said before, if you're ranking first and you're not converting, you can get the best rankings in the world. You don't need them. So yeah, rankings, conversions, profits, I think that's something people should consider. Yeah.
Awesome. No, that's a great message. I know, especially a ton of SEO people. I feel like the home service people are mostly dialed in on that. They're like, hey, I just wanna make money. Well, whatever it is, if you have to like stand outside and spin a sign, just do that. But I feel like a lot of SEO people, it's all about rankings. It's not about, like you said, conversions or revenue and profit. So I think that was great points, and we'll wrap up the show here. Tim, where can people find you online, connect with you and your company?
Join the local SEO hustlers community, localseohustlers.com. And it's a community. I'm trying to build that community because of the Facebook hack that happened 2 years ago, so that I have something that you can't just take away that easily. Yeah, and yeah, that's basically just join the community. That's it, and interact. And you can obviously join the Facebook group as well. It's, what is it? Local SEO strategies and Google Business Profile. Help with Tim Kahlert. Oh my God, so many keywords. I had to use a keyword. an SEO group without the keywords wouldn't work.
Yeah, no, you practice what you preach.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, what about your agency, Hypetrix, and also local SEO guide if people want to get that?
yeah. Right. So about the agency, I've never actually intended to grow that agency. I wanted
Mm.
to have I wanted to have a stable income in the first place, and then I wanted to sell more my knowledge than get more clients, because I never really enjoyed that hustle, and it's a lot of work with clients as well.
Yeah.
Especially if you're at the beginning. I mean, if you have 100 clients and 100 people working for you, that's a different story. But I like being in the field and actually doing the work myself as well. So that's why I never actually intended to grow that agency. And we were focusing on auto repair and truck repair clients as well, because I think that's where my strengths are. Yeah, no, that just join the community and that's it. That's really it.
Awesome. And well, last thing, because I like to give you a chance to promote. Where can people find you on social media and follow you?
Just Google for my name, Tim Kahlert, on Facebook, LinkedIn, um, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Facebook, LinkedIn. No, that one. That, yeah, I have an Instagram account as well, but I'm not doing anything on it. It's just some personal stuff. Yeah, follow me on Instagram. Yeah,
Yeah, no, me too. Facebook and LinkedIn are my main platforms.
yeah,
Cool. So go make sure to follow Tim on Facebook and LinkedIn. All the links will be in the description if you want to click on those. Tim, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been a blast. I learned a lot from you, and you seem like a really cool guy. I feel like we had a great conversation here.
absolutely. Thanks for having me, Danny. Thank you.
For sure.